akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ìyẹn NAS tẹ̀ka ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo òun ni wọ́n ṣe ìfẹ̀hónúhàn ní òpópónà Ọba Adésídà nílùú Àkúrẹ́ níbi tí wọ́n ti gbégi dí àwọn òpópónà náà tó jẹ́ pé kò sí ìrìnkèrindò ọkọ̀ ní òpópónà náà lọ́ọ́lọ́ tí a wà yìí. Níbẹ̀ ni a wà báyìí níbi tí ẹgbẹ́ àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ níbi tí wọ́n ti gbégi dí òpópónà Ọba Adésídà níwájú A division nílùú Àkúrẹ́. Kí làwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà ń béèrè fún? Àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà sọ wípé ọ̀rọ̀ ìjínigbé òun ni ó ń wáyé lemọ́lemọ́ nípínlẹ̀ Ondo tí kò sì yẹ kí ó wáyé bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n sọ pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ni wọ́n lọ fún SciWes àti IT tó sì jẹ́ wípé wọ́n ń jí wọn gbé ní àsìkò tí wọ́n bá ti lọ ṣe IT yìí. Tó sì sọ pé gómìnà Lucky Orímisàn Ayédàtiwa bákan náà wípé gómìnà gbogbo ìlérí tí ó ṣe fún àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wípé kò ṣe ìmúṣẹ rẹ̀. Àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà ní tí wọ́n ṣe ìfẹ̀hónúhàn nílùú Àkúrẹ́ wọ́n sọ pé kò sí ààbò nípínlẹ̀ Ondo. Wọ́n sọ wípé àwọn iléèwé ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo ni kò dúró re. Gbogbo rẹ̀ ní àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà ni wọ́n ṣe ìfẹ̀hónúhàn lé lórí. Láìpẹ́ yìí a ó bá alága ẹgbẹ́ àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà a ó bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ láti mọ ìdí gan tí wọ́n fi wà ní òpópónà Ọba Adésídà nílùú Àkúrẹ́ láti ṣe ìfẹ̀hónúhàn yìí. Ẹni àkọ́kọ́ tí a bá sọ̀rọ̀ a máa bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ láìpẹ́ yìí. Àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà.
Criticizing Tinubu's government. She's gaining traction for exposing the idiocy of the Nigerian people who do not understand that their primary duty in this situation is to speak to the truth of what the girl has said, not to be siding with our oppressor who are also their own oppressors. You talk about Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome has nothing on the Lagos or Nigerian Syndrome. This is one place where the oppressed constantly fight against those speaking to the truth of their oppression or looking to free them from their servitude. So, me, I don't know what the girl has done that they are all shouting and braying like maddened donkeys and rabid dogs. As far as I'm concerned, the young woman spoke to the truth of her reality. And they had better get used to it. And I dare you, Nigerian youth, speak your own truth and post it. If it is only Raye, they will be chasing her up and down the place. We should probably even have a day where everybody speaks to their experiences and post it online, and then let's see how many people they are going to go and arrest. Look, this is not about Raye. It's about allowing an atmosphere of fear where people are afraid to express their pains. How do you beat a child and then demand that the child should not cry? How? So Raye is not about Raye. It's about us as a collective. If you have found the capacity to criticize that girl for saying what you know to be the truth, you might quarrel with her language. And I know a lot of people quarrel with my own language as well. But it is not my duty to speak in a language that is pleasant to my oppressor. My oppressor can go do one just because he doesn't like my language. I hope he doesn't like it. When I speak in terms that are provocative, it is deliberate. I want the person who is oppressing me, limiting my capacities in my country, to be angry by my capacity to also speak to the fact of my situation. So if the girl has spoken in a manner that they don't like, let them address the truth of what she has said. To be all these farcical gyrations, she abused the president. How did she? He's a terrible president. Is that a lie? How much more terrible does the president have to be before we say he's terrible? He is terrible. The quality of life has been eroded for everybody, from the lowest to the highest. The only people who are having anything good in Nigeria today are essentially people who have been offered one toll gate or the other from which to be feeding fat on the Nigerian people, or they have direct access to the public purse. So if a youth copper who is feeling the pinch of life in Lagos speaks to that fact, how does that become an offense? We have become... The painful thing is that what is important is abandoned, ignored, and then we are chasing shadows. You don't like the way the girl said the truth that she has said.
Many Nigerians actually admire your courage, but fear government retaliation, as they're saying.
Fear.
What will you say to young Nigerians who want to fight injustice, but are afraid, sir?
See, the first thing you do if you want to fight injustice, speak. What Raya has done is to speak. You might not like the way she has spoken her truth. Speak it the way you feel it should be spoken. But do not take away a person's capacity to speak to the fact of their reality. Yorubas will say that the inability to speak to your pains is the beginning of your ruination. The girl spoke to her reality. If more Nigerians will speak to their reality, maybe they will be so uncomfortable they might even begin to do the right things.
Finally, sir, if you had just one message to share with Nigerian people right now, what will it be?
If you gain nothing else before 2027, make sure you have the capacity to choose who rules you. Because these ones that you are not choosing, they are ruining you. Look at what they are doing in Rivers. He offers you an example. And the fact that Yakubu Mahmoud is still in office is a slap on every Nigerian. That guy should be out of that place and we should be focused.
In the darkness. Yes, a lot of people agree that, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a master in dark politics. You know how to play dark politics very well. Okay, agree. But at what point, would Nigeria realize at this point that Bola Ahmed Tinubu plays dark politics? When before now, 2023, they had an option of choosing leadership, but they choose what we are in today. And what are we in? We have come to a man who prides himself as an emperor in disguise, a tyrant, an emperor. When he came into power, the moment he came, 2 weeks after, 3 weeks after, Nigerians realized that, the man at the helm of affairs is not a Democrat. He is an emperor and a tyrant. And before you know, he is surrounded himself with tyrants. And that is why it seems that the remaining fabrics of the institutions of democracy in Nigeria has continued to break down on a daily basis.
Okay, now, someone like Dele Farotimi have said that when you jettison rule of law, what you have is rule of impunity. I think that is the situation of Nigeria.
Of course now, you see, in the absence of in the absence of injustice, when law is absent, resistance becomes an option.
Like in the absence of justice.
In the absence of justice, or when injustice becomes law, when injustice becomes law, resistance becomes an option. Currently now, there is nothing you will tell a newborn baby, an average Nigerian, about Nigeria. Now, he will not have something to tell you that if it is possible, he doesn't want to be linked. Except those who has, because I can tell you, if you want to look at it from the class of Karl Marx theory, where you have the super rich, the elite, but there's not even elite. If there's elite in Nigeria, Nigeria would have fixed up by now. But if you look at the only thing that is close to the masses, that is the hope of the masses, the only thing that the masses can always look at, even with them closing their eyes, knowing that justice will come, is the judiciary. Okay, now, and with that judiciary, I don't think that democracy is something to embrace.
Okay, now let us look at, because some school of thought believe that in Nigeria, that the system is not working, that what we needed is to rejig the system. Talking about the grand norm, the constitution. because what we have currently was forced on Nigerians by the military. And people have been yearning for a people's-oriented constitution. And someone like Dele Farotimi have echoed this severally. Let me get your take.
See, like what they always say that the British and the Yorubas and the Hausa does not want Nigeria to work because of the crude oil. And you can see the suppression and oppression. If you look at it very well, yeah, have you sit down in a setting like Nigeria where we have 3 major ethnic nationalities? It is only the Igbos that are not allowed to be in the presidency. And these things, the way you look at it, it was powered intentionally. So, but now that they feel that they are Democrats or whatever the elite, they can attack themselves or can attack themselves, which I disagree 100%. There's no elite in Nigeria. There's nobody that can come out and call himself an elite. Nigeria does not have an elite. If they have an elite in Nigeria, then they should be able to play the role of elites. So, based on that structure now, the only thing they assumed gang up was to make sure that they continue to take away the resources of the eastern region unchecked to please the British system. The British system are the people who might have laid the foundation of this conspiracy that has destroyed the... See, anybody that is telling you, whether you are army or you are police or whatever you call yourself, that tell you that Nigeria is because they are paying you salary. No, wait, because they are paying you salary, they're paying you, say Nigeria is working, clap for them. At the end of the month, you pay. Bro, go and calculate the number of people who are government employed working force. Then look at the number of people who are not employed. Look at the number of people that are self-employed. Even those are self-employed are being seen as the productive class of the society. They are no longer productive. So how would you describe this? Then you are coming to tell me that they now budgeted 21 billion, 30 billion just to build a particular bungalow for one vice president or for one president. They're buying jets everywhere. Those particular class, look at their number. Are they up to, you see, when Dele Farotimi is trying to stand his point against this kind of criminality that's happening in the judiciary, are they not in disgrace now? Is judiciary not in disgrace? I was surprised the CGN came out recently and said they don't understand how the system, the judicial system, has derogated to the point that they don't even have, nobody have regard for the judiciary anymore.
Okay, now let us take attention to internal democracy in political parties. But it's not that people is having their own fair share of internal crisis. Labour Party is having their own. It is not just, it's not a huru in even the ruling party, talking about the APC. Why do you think we fail to get it right in Nigeria?
I must be honest with you. You understand? There's no how we can get it right in Nigeria, unless we rewrite the history of things that make us, not even in Nigeria, who we are. That is the first thing we need to do before we become. Bro, leave Nigeria. Before we become this ganged up arrangement and they tag us Nigeria. Nigeria is a tag. Nigeria is just a title. And if you look at that title, Nigeria, it is factored as a profit-making organization. Nigeria is a profit-making, and the people that we declare our profit to, they're not themselves. And since that time, the British Constitution till now, Nigerians with the so-called elite and professors and 1 million, everybody, they want to intimidate and oppress. That's why Olusegun said Nigeria is a jungle. Every Nigerian, every black man that is existing in this country are cannibals. They want to eat human beings.
But let me bring this thing that
I've not finished.
Okay.
I've not finished. They want to eat human beings. That's the only thing they know. They want to oppress and suppress and show themselves they are populous. What makes it populous? People are already talking about AI. Nigeria cannot feed themselves. Imagine the son of a vice president using nylon to give people rice. Nylon. Bro, this is what we are talking about. Sharing.
Okay, what would he have?
No, bro, let me tell you. They are disgracing them. That's why we are in this country when they sent a former vice president to the market. I was sharing 10,000 naira in the market.
But there's one question I want to ask.
If we fail to see, let Yorubas and Hausa stay on there. No, I'm not even counting the Fulani, because the Fulanis are not. But everybody should go their separate way. That is the real reason why Nigeria cannot work.
There's one thing I want to bring in here. Because someone like Odumeje said all Nigerians are illiterate. He said there's no professor in Nigeria. He said because if there's a professor, we would have seen people fixing electricity, getting it right in our educational sector, getting it right in the engineering sector, that hence we are not getting it right, that we are all illiterate.
You go and listen to what Tunde Bakare said some time ago. I think that was last year. He said when Igbos we are busy organizing themselves on how to advance to the next level, the Yorubas we are busy doing meeting on how to check how many properties Igbos have bought in Lagos. Then how do you connect it? People are busy trying to see how they're going to move from one level to other. You are busy trying to scout out and tell God how many do they have. He said he cannot be part of the meeting. That is where the Nigeria is. Some people are trying to move forward. Some people are trying to advance the society. Some people are trying to step up. But on the rest, is just sitting down because of what the British government told you people, that oil is the only way out. Crude oil is the only way out. That is why then how come? I keep on asking. The former vice president of Nigeria, Buhari, said that the Igbos are mobile economy. This one came, Shetima, the same thing. A lot of them are saying that in all the crannies, all the nooks and crannies, they found out that the Igbos are the ones behind every economic life in all the cities, in all the communities across Nigeria. Then the question is, having seen such nature, or having discovered, the strength of such people, wouldn't it be ideal for them to see how they can come into the position of the center and maybe, use their experience or whatever or their strength to make sure that Nigeria move forward? Look at it. I said it. Bola Ahmed Tinubu 2023. Do Nigeria have an option to choose leadership? You see the consequences. We saw what happened in Delta State, where the wife of the president was chased out from where he went to. And why would you behave like Obi? If Obi is going to Catholic church, nursing school, and do his things and that, you come again, he say you want to go to nursing school. They chase you out. Look at what is happening in the north. The same thing. You are busy drinking beer here, and when you go to north, you put. Is it not a disgrace that the son of a vice president was putting rice inside nylon and was sharing? The northerners have already told him to get out.
That son of president.
Yes, get out of here. What kind of disgrace is that? It's an embarrassment, not to what you want to achieve, but to the situation attached to Nigerians.
Because look as if his father weaponized poverty and he's not going around to do giveaway of food.
Bro, even if you want to give away, let us see that it is not at that level of being seen as an embarrassment. You want to embarrass the North, So they have already transferred the reservation, the anger they have for attitude to the father already, and that is going to affect whatever you is calculating or projecting ahead of 2027. That's the situation now. What happened in Rivers State is as a result of what we are seeing in judiciary. What happened to Fubara, what Wike is trying to achieve, is the same thing. But I can tell you, Tinubu is a master, like I said, in dark politics. And if Wike is not careful, Tinubu is going to throw Wike at the dustbin at the end of the day. I can tell you that. Because the way he's saying is going now, Tinubu can decide to allow the military administrator to remain there ahead of 2027. So that you'll be able to gather the resources of the River State, gather their money. The man is busy sacking all the whole local government chairman, sacking all the commissioners, sacking out all the head of service and everyone. They are bringing Tinubu's or Wike's power structure back to River State in disguise. So how do you justify that? And a democratic elected government is somewhere in the Greek watching impunity. I pray that the likes of Onyi Beribe, I don't want to use that word because, see, Asari should respect himself. Don't take the Igbos for granted. You are making unnecessary statement that you can kill Igbos, kill all the governors, kill everybody for Nigeria. But I can tell you, you know, go and ask. You know, it's just like the same thing that's happening in Israel today. Israel kept quiet for long, watching, doing what, pretending as if they don't know what is happening. But when they start against Hamas, you can see what is happening today. Asari Dokuba has been daring Igbos for a very long time, and Igbos has kept quiet. And I believe our silence will not mean